Hey guys, I'm here on this beautiful fall day with Lisa Turner from Town and Country Credit Union. And one of the things we're getting coming across our desks more and more questions is the Resilient Homebuyer Program for the city of Minot. And she's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the Resilient Homebuyer Program is a great program for people who lived in a flooded home back in 2011. So whether you owned the home at that time, you rented, you're a child of someone who owned or rented that house, as long as you were impacted by that flood, you qualify for this program.
So if they're interested, they were impacted by the 2011 flood, how would they get the process started?
They need to reach out to CDM Smith to make sure that they can get that certificate that says they were in a flood impacted home. So they do require certain documentation to prove that you actually lived in that home during that time. After that, then reach out to your local lender to see if you qualify for the program as far as your income, credit scores, qualifying for it. You're under the certain income limits for the program, which start out at $75,000 for a single person and then go up there depending on your family size.
Are there certain types of homes that qualify for it? Are there certain areas that qualify?
Yeah, as far as types of homes go, it's single family homes, condos, townhomes, but they do have to be in a certain area that's deemed to be the resilient area of Minot. So it has to be outside of the new proposed floodplain. And then there's certain areas on this map that deem it to be in the resilient areas that they've chosen. So,
everyone's definition of a fixer-upper is different, but is there, does a house have to be in a certain shape? I mean, does it need to be perfect, new construction? Is there things to look for when you're...
it doesn't have to be in perfect shape, but it does have to be in good enough condition. It does have to pass CDM Smith's housing quality standards test. Now, as far as chipping, peeling paint, anything built before 1978 could have lead-based paint, so it's important to get that scraped and repainted prior to that inspection and everything to make sure that passes. Make sure there's no other safety issues with the home, broken windows, uncapped wiring, stuff like that would be picked up from that. And then, just making sure it's an overall good, decent, livable condition otherwise.
So I've ran into that too with a few of them. There are some issues with certain houses, and usually it's blatant. We can pick it out. We can work through it. So don't let that scare you when you're out looking for houses. If we talk to the seller, they want to sell their house and you want to buy it, usually we can work through those home inspection issues or those issues that come up. So another question we're getting is at $60,000, is that their down payment? Do they still need to have a down payment to come down with it? Or how does kind of the money break down? Or if someone's going to buy a $150,000 house, what kind of money may they need for a down payment?
So that $60,000 is truly a down payment assistance on that. So if they're buying it, say for the $150,000, their loan amount is going to be $90,000. And that $60,000, how that works is it still stays out there as kind of a second lien on that home, but you're never going to see that or anything until you go to sell that home. Now, over a 15-year period, it's fully forgiven. But let's just say you sell it in 7.5 years, you got about $30,000 that you got to pay back on it, but you've acquired $30,000 in free money and equity into it too. So,
how many of these have you done with a government program? Usually there's some strings attached, different stuff like that. How many loans has Town and Country completed? Are people actually getting the $60,000?
Yeah, we've done, more this year than we have in the past years since it's been available, but we've done about 12 to 15 of them now. It's a really good program. We've been seeing a lot more of the children of people who lived in a flooded home. So those people are now coming into that age where they're looking and starting to buy their first home and everything. So getting $60,000 down on your first home as a down payment assistance really increases their buying power and everything and gets them into an affordable monthly payment. So that's been a really big thing that we're seeing with that. So other than that, as far as getting the full 60, usually, as long as somebody doesn't own a home, for the most part, they're getting the full 60. If someone's getting bought out from their home or selling their home to qualify for the program, there's a little bit different calculations for that. And sometimes it might be a hair less depending on their situation.
Let's say buyer qualifies for a $150,000 loan. They want to get the $60,000. Could they look up to $210,000? Or should they stay at $150,000 and that $60,000 credit would drop them down to like a $90,000 loan, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, it really just kind of depends on, what kind of payment they're looking for to have for a monthly payment and also what they qualify for. So if they can qualify, when we look at it, we say, okay, you qualify for the $150,000 purchase price, but your loan amount is $90,000 then. So all the the loan amount and the monthly payments based off of that. So it just depends on, you know, how much they're going to qualify for and what they really want to target for that monthly payment, because just because they can qualify for more doesn't mean they're comfortable with that payment. So that's usually what we target first, is what they want to have for that payment.
Well, thank you for meeting me out here today. We'll throw some links, picture in the end of this video. If you have any questions, get a hold of one of us, but it's definitely a good program, or it's taken some time to catch on, but it is catching on, and we are seeing people using it every day, successfully closing a loan. And if you happen to be affected by the 2011 flood, go check it out and see if you qualify.